So talks recently have kind of come into my attention in which that someone of a recent, I believe, a online debate between Anime Super Dude and some other guy. I think is Omegle. I believe that is his name. And apparently, Omegle was one of the guys who pretty much said that Naruto was better than One Piece. However, he doesn't necessarily understand, or at least he doesn't know anything about One Piece. You know, pretty much one of those guys who pretty much just kind of looks at anime, knows nothing about it, but just knows that it's popular within like a lot of fans. And honestly, at this point, even pretty much the One Piece fan, or at least like a lot of people who do like One Piece, they kind of look at it and say that it is overrated. But I'm like, the overrated thing is kind of a bit odd to me, because it's like, you say it's overrated, but yet it's good. So is being overrated a bad thing, or is it being a good thing? Because, you know, that's kind of thrown around. However, at the same time, a lot of people, they do kind of look at this, or at least like they do kind of look at some of these debates here, and they do kind of look at the things of how people talk and how they say certain things and stuff. And honestly, this is a common ideal for pretty much a lot of fans out there who pretty much do look at Naruto and then look at One Piece and then kind of look at both of them, or at least like, because Naruto pretty much, or at least like they are way more familiar with that rather than being familiar with, let's say, like One Piece or something. They do kind of have problems, or it's a common thing. I'm sorry if my sentence kind of went off there. I had to answer a phone call, but honestly though, it's like, it's a thing of like, a lot of fans, they look at it they pretty much look at Naruto and they're like, yeah, man, I have been watching this longer. And a lot of them, they do kind of fall off of One Piece because, again, early One Piece, they did spend a lot more time trying to actually build up character, build up story, and pretty much give you a lot to pretty much digest, whereas Naruto, on the other hand, it was a bit simpler to kind of really get into because every single episode had a battle in it, and pretty much it was just simple enough and just enough to pretty much tell you what is going on and pretty much keep everything going. Now, mind you that even though One Piece, it does have the higher character per a progression type of like way of storytelling, of them giving every single character you meet in the show, or at least every single one that has a name, and pretty much plays a integral part in like a story, or at least in the story, I pretty much should say, they all have some type of motivation which actually drives them. In terms of Naruto, on the other hand, it's kind of like judging day and night in this sense, in which that they're both useful and they're both good. The difference is though is that one is way more useful than the other. In terms of Naruto's thing of them pretty much trying, man, to give you the bare, or give you pretty much just enough to keep it enjoyable, which is something that does make it easier to look at, and pretty much you don't have to think about it all that much. One Piece, on the other hand, for what they're doing, pretty much looking at the two arcs right now, looking at the War arc and looking at the Dressrosa arc, there has been so much build up for One Piece half of pretty much Doflamingo, even before this, even before Dressrosa was even presented to us as viewers. His character has been known as being ruthless, violent, super powerful, and actually something which does have a lot of connections over possibly the entire world. So much in fact is that he openly threatens world government members in their own offices with their guards behind him, and honestly, he doesn't care, because he has that type of influence and power, which that they do not want to, pretty much like, they don't want to make him a threat. That's kind of how powerful he is. And in Naruto's case, we had two different villains in this case, or better yet, three villains in this case. We had we had the villain that is Kabuto and him and the Edo Tensei. Then after that we had the villain, which is Obito, which in this case he is the only character essentially who pretty much like most of this arc has been to explain his character. And for most of the other one, for what was with Kabuto, they did actually have a few moments there with them finally explaining the reason why he was actually helping them out and doing and pretty much helping out Orochimaru, and that pretty much was a cool that kind of was a thing there. And in the midst of all that, we kind of finally met Madara Uchiha, and they did actually talk about his story and everything. Pretty much, it's two different fallouts here. It says that in the Dressrosa arc, they presented so much and they gave us so much, and they even went as far as to pretty much give us some shocks and give us all the stuff within it, bundled up within a neat little package, even after the death of Ace. And now with Sabo eating the Nomi and gaining Ace's devil fruit powers, even going into but then crossing that over to Naruto's thing, pretty much it was just a beat 'em up game. We kind of just scratched off one villain and then threw another one there. That's kind of how it felt for like the longest while. And and I'm just judging it off of these final arcs, even though they are not finished yet. And honestly, I could just go back and really get into all of the other things of all the other story plots and all the other character moments in Naruto and all of the plots and character moments within One Piece. But honestly, it's a bit easier just to judge the last two arcs. And for me personally, I know a lot of people, they do say that One Piece is overrated, but I'm like, it's overrated for a reason. I mean, people like it. It's rare to find a lot of people who genuinely dislike One Piece because of the fact that it is a character-driven story. It does have a lot of payoff, and it does have a lot of things within it, which that if they did actually look at it, you could find a lot of parallels within that, and also in Naruto and plenty of other animes. Whereas Naruto, on the other hand, it kind of capsulizes that moment in the 80s, in which in the 90s, in which that when every single one of us, we first looked at Dragon Ball Z, and somewhere within like the Inga part of it, it was around the point I will say when Gohan, when he fought Cell, somewhere around those parts is when somewhere in there is the part in which that Naruto perfectly capsulizes that moment in which that we actually watched that and we grew hype off of it. Which that is what's happening now with Naruto and Sasuke having their brand new abilities and their brand new movesets, and Madara cannot do anything to stop them. Even if he did gain his other eye, it's something of that he probably still wouldn't have enough power to beat them. So there is that. And that is something in which that show, it does capitalize it. It does capitalize on. In terms of Naruto and One Piece, comparing them, personally, I have to go towards One Piece, because even though it did take a while for it to kind of get going, just like how it always does, it tries different things, it gives us different arcs. And honestly, for what we're kind of dealing with now, it's giving us a villain in which this is by far the first anime in a long while that I have seen them build up a villain for years and years and years and still have him come off as a threatening force, especially with him doing the birdcage in the recent chapter. In terms of Naruto, on the other hand, we kind of just got villains just sprung on us like out of nowhere. The only actual villain in which that we did know for like a long while now was Kabuto, and we recently just got his reason earlier in the mission, in the war arc, upon why he was doing what he was doing. Now, mind you, they're both not bad, but me personally, I do move more towards Naruto. What do you guys think about that? Please tell me down there in the comment section. I will catch you on the next John Grave show. So please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I am out.